It was sort of running rampant on in solo queue at the time, so there was a reason for him to pick that one up at that stage. I mean, I think that Camille was just overtuned.
The way you look at it the way you kind of look at it conventionally is that Canyon is a Lee Sin player, so it's probably going to be Lee Sin jump.
No, it's in a duo lane. He's not getting the buff of a Smithy. Missed positioning. This is a disaster.
And of all the DAMWON Gaming players, he needed a bit of a boost, so he's going to have to hold on here.
Oh, come on.
DWG Gaming coming back off the Rift Rivals, but SANDBOX a really imposing target. Very intriguing drop from the side of DWG Gaming.
And SANDBOX have been doing their homework. They're renekton towards the top side of the map. They have a very strong draft. Will it work against the weirdness that DAMWON have provided? DAMWON feeling fantastic. They have momentum. Let's see what happens in game one. All right, Arcade Yasuo back on the Rift one more time. You a fan of that skin, Papa Smithy?
No.
Oh, which one do you like?
I like the Dade one, the Cowboy one. Cowboy release skin. High Noon Yasuo. That's what I'm all about.
I'm not a fan of the High Noon Yasuo because I think that it looks like the High Noon Jin too much.
I know, but
feels like they just had the same skin.
That was Dade's skin.
It was Dade's skin. That's true.
I was a Dade man in 2014. You either Dade man or a Faker man?
I was a Dade man in 2015. It was a really sad time.
Masters 3. Let's stop talking about 2015 LPL and start talking about 2019 LCK. It's got colorful skins everywhere. Two young squads, but two squads that could be very central to Korea's hopes. There's a chance that both these teams go to Korea as the 2 out of 3 representatives at the end of the year. There's a lot of teams that are going to be in contention. Joker himself, you mentioned, not quite the Lehen school of Yuumi play. Going to be going Guardian here. We saw this from Tucson 1 out of 2 games. I believe it was Comet 1 game like Lehen's, and then into the Guardian, a bit more defensive choice. How do you get through lane in the bot lane, you might ask, on the Sejuani? He's going to stick with Aftershock, has gone for second win for a bit of regen, and then very common to go Precision second. Tenacity,
Tenacity
and some mana regen.
Yeah. So Beryl just going to be utilizing his Relic Shield in order to try and at least stay alive in lane. We'll see whether he stacks this up if he's not taking too much aggression. But as you can see, they will get shoved in. This lane will be a little bit rough until they can get these all-ins working.
Oh, for sure. Obviously,
God.
Yasuo sees better days. And it's Yasuo and a melee support against a Yuumi. So you can understand how that's going to go in the early phase. We're going to look at Camille's runes here. Nagari has gone Klepto into Renekton.
Which is BM? That seems like massive BM to me.
So, yes. On the one hand, yes. This is basically saying, I'm going to have my jungler in my pocket the whole time, otherwise I'm trolling. So,
yeah, or like, I'm just that much better than you that it doesn't matter.
But this is what you can do if you're really next level. And we know that Nagari is the opposite of I just lock in the keystone every time. But he always plays around. Winning. But he always plays around with rune choices, right?
He does.
He was the guy who innovated the 40% CDR Vlad build that looked so OP back at Kesper Cup when the new runes came out.
First one to run the Doran's Ring as well on the Vladimir.
So he's always leading, so he gets in people's heads because everyone looks at his runes and says, is that just because he's a bit crazy, or is that because that's the new OP thing? It's bot lane, we're trying an all-in.
Yeah, here's the all-in. Permafrost is going to go down the Ignite. Tix picks up the kill. DAMWON 3 minutes in, and they've already got first blood. We were talking about waiting for the all-in. There it was.
It had to come after level 1. The level 1 they gave up, but the moment at level 2 that Joker delatched, it seems like they had a chance to go in. Nagari's trading up.
Why is... He makes it look like a counter matchup, Papa. What's happening?
So I'm going to get there, but unfortunately action happened in the bot lane rudely. The reason why he's doing this, if his jungler isn't revealed, you have to play respectful, because otherwise, why would he be up so far? And that's what Nagari does. He always plays with his runes. He gets in your head, and he's playing the lane like he has jungle cover the entire time. Of course, if there was an in-game leader like CSGO, they'd be in his head being like, by the way, he's got nothing. No cover, nothing.
Yeah. Well, not happening. He's going to go back home. We're going to check out how this one actually happened. It was a turret shot taken from Ghost, and unfortunately
Joker delicious. Remember how the cooldown works. The moment you jump in, the cooldown starts. He instantly jumped out, so that's the all-in timing.
Yeah,
that's just a mistake.
And also he jumped out the wrong side as well. It was just bad news.
That was really, really poor from Joker, just misunderstanding how to play Yuumi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I was going to bring this up as well, Papa, but I felt like I ate my words last time I spoke about this. It was when Joker picked up the Lux, and I was like, well, I mean, are the old man mechanics going to work for a new champion in his repertoire that he hasn't played so much, and he was great. He was fantastic.
Well, that wasn't mechanics, right? That was decision-making, which is usually fantastic.
That's true. That's true.
De-leashing is not it's pressing a button, right? It's not actually with any sort of aiming. Just a really poor decision there. But Noguri has been able to fake his way as he's faked it before he's made it. And that's what this that matchup is, right? Don't get run over, and then eventually, Triforce Ravenous Hydra, you can actually trade against Renekton. But he's faked it with so much aggression, his jungler hasn't been revealed, and Olaf was playing bot side, as we saw with the attempt at a gank, that actually Noguri comes out gold parity.
Yep. Also, probably has way more money as well, because the Klepto is there, and he's just been battling this entire time. You saw the money just coming up. As
don't try this at home. Just to be clear, do not go.
This is not a good thing.
Into Renekton. Don't do it.
We're sending the wrong messages here as Beryl going hyper aggressive. Upshot going to get some work done as the permafrost does come in, but Ghost is going to be okay. Zoomies helping him out there as Canyon benefiting from the extra range on that Q as Summit finally able to get a trade working in his favor.
You're so tilted if you have to watch
I'm
this
tilted.
VOD.
I'm tilted.
Does the coach have him watch the VOD? Between games? Maybe not, right? Because press the attack Renekton is the opposite of Klepto Camille in the early game. But no CS lead to show that. OnFleek also, because bot lane got solo killed 2v2, OnFleek has to kind of make this work. Remember, when Olaf falls behind, remember yesterday we had Olaf losing red buff, getting 3 buff, never getting going. Olaf is the epitome of this caster grab word, the tempo jungler, where when his lanes are able to overextend, like Renekton usually against Camille, you just run into the red side jungle and you know that Renekton will be responding first. He's got the lane control. If bot lane surprisingly loses and top lane is not getting an advantage in a counter matchup, suddenly Olaf's like, wait, where can I go? Yep. And that's usually where things fall apart for an Olaf.
The other thing I wanted to talk about as well is the draft was done really intelligently on the DAMWON side. Remember, they picked the Sejuani, and then instantly OnFleek is like, okay, I can Olaf into this. But we've seen so many Korean junglers picking the Lee Sin into the Olaf when given that opportunity. It might have been a very late flex of the Lee Sin just to make sure that this matchup is okay for Canyon.
Small point, OnFleek actually was camping to steal experience for level 6. He got level 6 from the lane minions dying over the wall. Didn't end up being important because he wanted to contest the Infernal Drake that Canyon was on top of, and a cool little mechanic understanding experience ranges. SANDBOX still going to have, in a resting state, lane control because 2 melee champions against oppressive ranged opponents. The range differential is like 11 Teemos, 12 Teemos.
Too many Teemos.
If you guys wonder why we use Teemo as a unit of measurement, it's because Teemo's model size is exactly 100 units. So when you hear that Caitlyn has 650 range, it's 6.5 Teemo's range.
Yep. And that's the Teemo base skin model.
That was Riot's decision.
Yep. Assault from Beryl does mean that Aftershock is on cooldown as this wave is crashing into the turret. Going to be a little bit more difficult to defend for the next few seconds. Kali with some lane control in the mid lane is actually pretty good here for SANDBOX Gaming, is wanting to get her out of there and start skirmishing around things like this dragon could be important.
I just realized, Atlas.
Oh, yeah?
You know how there's the Big Mac standard for understanding how much relative currencies are worth?
Yeah.
The Big Mac index? We've got a Teemo index.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been the case. I like it.
I know, but I didn't put it together.
You haven't put it in there yet.
And it's a global thing, you know?
And I'm glad that it's a global thing as well, and it's about measurement, because, you know, I have a problem with the Imperial measurement system.
Really? What's your problem with the Imperial measurement system?
It's not good.
It's better than the Sorcerer measurement system.
I don't know. At least that's quaint, you know?
There's nothing quaint about Noguri being able to push out of lane
with
a CS advantage and put down deep vision.
This is actually
Klepto Camille versus
it's irresponsible.
Renekton with press the attack.
It is straight up irresponsible of him to be winning this matchup this hard, or at least staying even.
Think of the children in solo queue.
Exactly, that are now thinking, oh, Camille, the counter matchup, if I take Kleptomancy into Renekton.
It really beefs up my traits.
Yeah.
I can buy an extra potion when I'm in the Death Chamber.
Oh my god.
Well, you know who's going to be in the Death Chamber? It is actually the Infernal Drake around the Yasuo lane. So this game has been very surprising from a SANDBOX perspective. Right now, if I'm Comet, their coach, I'm ripping out my hair.
Yes. And we'll
my
see
best laid draft.
He loves it when a plan comes together, but not when a plan comes out of the draft coming together and then not working at all. When we actually hit the rift, but it is only 10 minutes in. They are down an Infernal Drake, but as far as money is concerned, it hasn't even crested that 1K mark yet, and we haven't had our first skirmish. Shelly is going to be on the Rift in 15 seconds, and that might be an opportunity for SANDBOX to get some sort of skirmish happening with their solo lanes.
Akali's role in this game is very interesting, though, because Akali's obviously the enemy of the AD carry. As the AD carry, even in Ezreal's like, crap, a lot of mobility to assassinate me. Where are we going? You know, in team fights, who you choosing? Because you're kind of going to be caught in Yasuo AoE, and there's no one to dive because all of DAMWON Gaming are diving after you. So conventionally you say, never mind, you'll play side lanes. Even then, the side lanes don't necessarily scale into a wonderful spot. You're more comfortable against LeBlanc in the side lane in the late game than most champions are, but you don't have as kind of wide win conditions around Akali like we usually see, where it's, wow, the 1v1 can be really good, also team fighting. Speaking of team fighting.
Yep. We're going to look for it here as Onflake has the Ragnarok popped as Showmaker dives on in. Hextech Ultimatum will secure the kill onto the Olaf as now Summit. He's being kited a little bit, but Showmaker is the one that's going to get taken down. Summit delivered that kill as both top laners are going to trade. Final chapter towards the bottom side as that's just too much damage. DAMWON are way too strong, and it's a late exhaust, meaning that none of this damage is mitigated, and a double kill goes over to Nuclear.
Okay, apparently we'll just win everywhere, says DAMWON Gaming.
Yeah.
Yes, Showmaker dies, but they get leads, or at least even trades in the top and bot side. Equal turret plates at 11 minutes between the Yasuo lane and the Ezreal lane. It seems like DAMWON Gaming came with a homebrew solution to everyone. I'm tasting the homebrew, I'm sipping it, and this is some delicious craft beer coming out of DAMWON Gaming.
It's really nice stuff. They managed to at least go to the right school when it came to homebrew, and that can go disastrously wrong, Papa Smithy. And we were expecting it to. I mean, this is a support Sejuani. It's not necessarily supposed to work straight out of the gate.
Who knew that they were just one Yasuo short of genius? Hillsong approves on that one. Watching the kill here, it's the first instant kill. We actually missed this one, I believe, on the backside. The Summit just takes the free counter kill on the top side, but this is the surprise. A 2v2 kill into a 2v2 double kill. Contesting vision. Ghost, well, he went in the womb direction there. He got taken out.
The womb direction.
There's a 2012 shout out.
I was going to say, we were talking about 2015 LPL, we had a problem with it, and then you go the womb direction.
It's an LCK reference.
Hey, that's true. At least we're the right region. We're the right region.
I'm listening. I heard Nicer and I heard Yumi.
Yeah.
I heard they're making a cat sound with the Yumi sound. Matt, DAMWON Gaming are feeling it, you know, and you can understand why. Will be a 10-match win streak in terms of series. They would have win here.
You have to remember the players on this team as well. You've got Noguri, who is so infectious with his excitement. You can imagine that momentum, I mean, it works differently for a lot of teams based on which players that you have, because some teams have robots on them. You know, you've got Teddy and Faker, who aren't often then unflappable when it comes to that sort of thing, but Noguri is the complete opposite. Like, this guy, if he's on a high, he's taking Klepto Camille and still beating the Renekton.
And one of the things I love about casting with you, Atlas, is that you are also on the unflappable side. We both throw out kind of crazy like reference and stuff, and we're there to catch it, you know? We're very much got the duo synergy there. We saw that Reddit post. I talked about it on broadcast yesterday. However, the reason why I bring it up is I'm going to flap you. I don't know if that's the expression. I'm going to try.
Okay. See whether I'm flappable. You give me a flap test?
I'm
flap test.
I think I can flap you with a League of Legends related comment as we see if SANDBOX can actually hold on to their red. I think DAMWON Gaming would probably be smart.
I'll hold my flap for the moment.
I'll hold the comment for a moment. Late invade. Expected. Yasuo and Ezreal won't be joining Dove here first.
Wards over the wall as Ghost is underneath the turret. Showmaker has found Dove at the beginning. Beryl actually going the opposite direction though as Onflake. He's got a Yumi in his back pocket, and DAMWON are going to disengage. There should be a distortion there to get Showmaker over the wall.
But back to flapping.
Yeah, flap me, Papa Smithy, flap me.
So, here's the scenario. DAMWON Gaming win today. Let's say confidently, 2-0.
Okay.
2-1, whatever, they win. They face Kingzone on Saturday, the next match, and they win confidently. Are DAMWON Gaming favorites for LCK South?
Yes.
That's a very confident answer.
To me, DAMWON Gaming at the moment are the best performing LCK team.
Still,
I was ready to say it at the beginning
to call
of
them
Rift
favorites is pretty big, right? Because Griffin are still a great team.
I know. And the thing is, Griffin have that problem of they've almost got that title of choker that Kingzone had for so long.
And I know, you know, you're very much of the play-by-play school of, all right, let's go for it. But like, that is pretty big to say favorites for the entire title based on kind of 10 matches in a row of play.
And I'm also, it's not necessarily just the play-by-play thing. I'm a very gut feeling type predictor.
How do you feel about the Infernal Drake?
Well, last chapter is going to come in. We're looking for some damage. Good knockup comes forward as that's a lot of follow-up there. Ghost does have a teleport following him, but it's a great ultimate coming through from Beryl, and in goes Noggery into the back line. The first kill will go to DAMWON, and look at them grouped up. The last breath is going to come in, and I don't care about chapters. I'm all about breathing as DWG Gaming will take the second Infernal as well.
They hope the final chapter will be a start, but their final breath with so many people going down. Atlas, the problem is, guess who was watching on in horror? Dove had no one to dive. He didn't even have his ultimate up. There was no way for him to contribute. But we already outlined that with a comp like this, there's no 80 carry to get on top of. And those aren't just regular Drakes. Those are the fiery ones. 2 Infernals, Noggery pushing up. We're getting into silly gold leads already.
Yeah, this is stomp territory. And we weren't expecting this because remember, SANDBOX, they had so much more prep time over the Rift Rivals break. You know, this is a time for them to relax, get themselves in the right headspace, really study their first match. It straight up hasn't happened. I felt like it might have from the draft, but from this, that's a big no from me.
And it's so cool because it was in so many inventive ways, and none of it was the mistakes of SANDBOX, apart from, wouldn't they have liked to know this? There was a lot of information things where DWG got ahead and made smart moves, like we talked about with the Relentless Aggression topside. Speaking of aggression topside, they're looking for all the objectives in the early game. It's been a perfect objective game so far for DWG.
Yep, they will be able to take Shelly down, and you're exactly right. They're 1 kill away. Showmaker's death, taking them away from a potential perfect game. You can imagine they're not really considering that one. Looking down at the items, we almost have the Sterix Gauge done for Nuclear. He will be a raid boss as this game goes on. 20 CS ahead, 2-0-4 with a 200 gold bounty against an Ezreal as a Yasuo duo lane.
It is
disgust.
Unbelievable. Atlas, it's very hard to underrate just how well DWG Gaming are playing in this game against quality opposition. 7-1. SANDBOX Gaming only lost to Kingzone, beat Griffin in this season. And he walks up, contesting here. The Rift Herald charge is going to be late.
Yeah, Predator is going to come forward, but Arc Consult's pretty good there as Beryl's able to get out of the way of the charging Viking.
Any support that can nebulously build tank items and can face check and put down wards with a gap closer or the ability to go over a wall.
Well, speaking of going over a wall, we're looking for the Winter's Wrath, not actually finding it as Nuclear hunts forward with his tornado. Showmaker diving on in. He's burning down. Zumi's going to be there to make sure they keep him alive. But there's the ultimate. Glacial Prison under the turret. Nuclear finishes off the kill very comfortably. And the rest of the team's there for the follow-up. This is a team highly coordinated and poised to kill DWG. What happened?
They're bullying SANDBOX Gaming. This is some sort of atrocity going on the Rift. They are so relentlessly aggressive and willing to flex. And I see you dumbfounded. You look entirely
I am
flapped,
incredulous.
Atlas.
I am mega flapped, and I'm not supposed to be flappable. You mentioned this before.
Because you just watch these plays and the times they're choosing, they know how strong they are. And what does an LPL team do when they're ahead that we never see in the LCK? They continue to challenge you, to skill check you, and they say, look, you're a good player, but I'm just as good. I think I'm better as I need to, and I've got more items, so I'm willing to go. They go under the turret, and SANDBOX Gaming can't deal with the pace of the DWG Gaming onslaught.
Yeah. And it's just the precision and the way that they're navigating with this unorthodox composition. You were talking about the LPL. It's making me feel like we're watching G2, where they pick something strange, and then they show us exactly why they picked it during the game. And it looks like genius. That's what DWG are doing right now. Well, it's really exciting. As Summit, he's going to pop that Dominus. The flash is used from Noggery, who went a little bit too far forward battling for this red buff. Showmaker's going to dive on in, though. Not able to actually steal it away, but still going aggressive. And the outer turret in the mid lane is being pressured. Ghost there, will defend.
Still, if you're going to play the all-out assault, there are going to be moments where one person is caught by multiple. SANDBOX Gaming coming from far behind, both in terms of map control, but from their bases and with how advanced DWG Gaming are at 19 minutes. Kind of feels like this game is going to hell in a handbag quickly.
Yeah.
There will be chance to shut down. This time, only a flash from Noggery. No kill comes in there. Noggery himself, close to the 2-item mark, where we say that the lane really does start to move. Apparently no one told Noggery when it comes to the early game.
I mean, like, what does that actually mean when it's in terms of Noggery? Because the lane was, like, level 1. He was still in a positive matchup, as now he's looking for a 1v2. Hookshot comes in. Summit doesn't find the Kolomeek.
Great teams
Sorry,
take
Raptors
on
was
paper matchups, advantages and disadvantages. They laugh at them, and they make them all their own. And that's what DWG Gaming is doing here. They've done a lot of unconventional stuff that could work. All of it is working at the same time. And that's why it's a casual 7,000 gold lead. And whoever the Yuumi is bound to is still getting chunked like no tomorrow.
And look at the bottom lane. This was after we had Beryl's hard carry performance, but in the 2v2 at Rift Rivals in their final game against JD Gaming, Lumao and Imp really had their number. Now Nuclear comes in like he's been completely charged up from what felt like a loss for him, honestly, in that game. It was really, really rough. Dying level 1 and then getting 2v2 killed in that lane also. Now comes in and they're just casually Yasuo Sejuani SANDBOX to death. A team that was challenging for first place here in the LCK.
It's definitely a rude awakening. I don't think anyone could have seen game 1 going this way right now. Seems like DAMWON playing with their food. However, we should indicate they have lost games in this scenario recently against King's Own Dragon X in game number 2. The enemy, Vladimir, was 0-4. They had a massive gold lead on their top lane, Aurelia, and yet things fell apart. Now, I don't believe that will happen here because they have a very easy-to-execute teamfight comp that wasn't supposed to have the item spikes at this point in the game. So they're very accelerated with a pretty easy-to-execute comp. The only thing they can't do is Siege, and their 1-3-1 with Ignite LeBlanc isn't amazing. But they can set up the Baron, decrease the damage with things like the Wind Wall, and their turn is S+. So because of that, should be confidence here. However, we should, call out the elephant in the room. DWG Gaming don't always easily secure leads and close games from there.
Yeah. The thing about it is their 1-3-1 with Yasuo Camille is actually pretty good, fair, to be honest. So they can play around that if they want to. I have a feeling that DWG are going to keep up the aggression, though. You can see already with a lot of vision around this Baron area, they're still clearing things out. It's 21 minutes, so Baron is a pretty dangerous thing to go for, and without a whole lot of consistent damage, when you're minus your Yasuo and Camille, it is a little bit difficult. But we'll see whether they can actually command some control around there, because right now, with 7,000 gold in the lead, they have a lot of power.
And you wonder if Sejuani's support, with the lowering priority on Sejuani jungle, might actually start to become a thing in Korea. Is this a one-off? Is this a new meta trend?
But with the flexibility of adding the Sejuani support as an option, that's the huge thing, because you do need to bear it in mind. As here's the engage, final chapter coming in. Not getting a whole lot of value, but they do manage to take him down. Nuclear in with 2 kills instantly, though, as the Ragnarok is not enough. It's weighted out, and Beryl gets the ultimate down. A double kill now for the Yasuo as they're able to dive so incredibly aggressively. Tornado doesn't hit the mark as Ghost is getting some damage in, but DWG able to win the fight that SANDBOX started.
And Dove really wanted a pick there. He wanted to have that moment of fight back in the 1v1. Saw that Showmaker had wasted his W. Thought there was a solo kill. Watching DWG rotate first. They rotate onto Baron. And SANDBOX will spot it. Not sure what they can do.
Well, Windwall is going to be there to deny the True Shot Barrage. That would have done a lot of damage, actually.
He'd be in 5 seconds on Dove.
Yeah, 4 seconds to go, but the Baron isn't going to last that long. The teleport is coming in. It's from Summit. He has the Yuumi, but the Baron is gone. And look at this. They all have the ability to get over the wall, but they don't even want to. Summit taken down to below half health. He's destroyed before he can do anything, and Canyon just goes golden. Nuclear is there, and the Sejuani is going to go down as Dove is doing his best Showmaker impression, but Nogari is now here on the Rift. Dove is going to turn up. Nuclear looking for a good flash to get out of the way of the Steel Tempest, but Showmaker has respawned, and now it's his turn. The mid laners are doing battle, but the last laugh is there from DWG. Triple kill as Showmaker cleans up.
And DWG Gaming will always take those skill tests. They'll always keep fighting, even though most teams are just trying to escape with the maximum Baron buffs. Let's talk about the entire play, because a lot to evaluate. Dove takes the second part of the E, knowing that LeBlanc is out of mobility, and Olaf is there. Tried to get a counter kill. DWG Gaming in position first. This is what led to the Baron. The timing on the Glacial Prison. We've seen so many Sejuani ults fly wide. Important that that one hit. The Baron goes down, and remember, you can get out of the pit. Not flashes on everyone, but a lot of people could have escaped here and you would have had maximum buffs. Instead, they say, screw it, let's fight. And that is the DWG Gaming way to go. They take the skill check, and usually taking out Baron buffs here with only a couple left, you say, uh-oh, this isn't ideal. Do notice what Baron buffs remain. Nogari keeps his Baron, and Showmaker has a Baron as well. He got it because he respawned in time while the buff died. So their side laners do keep the Baron, and they can still play multiple lanes.
Yeah, there can be that potential 1-3-1 threat, as you can see already. Showmaker moving down towards that bottom side. Spirit Surgeon and the Black Cleaver are done here for Summit. So he does have his core CDR items, but I just feel like it's way too little too late because there's a 408 Camille with a 600 gold bounty staring him down with 3 items already completed. This game has been a masterclass in how to play this awesome dude composition that just starts the fights that it wants.
Look, all I can tell you is that the top 2 top laner versus the top 2 top laner battle involved a Camille with Klepto winning lane against Renekton and having priority. That's all
the
you
rest
need to
of
know.
our top laners look pretty mediocre, to be honest.
I mean, it's pretty easy to look mediocre next to Noguri and Summit, and this is a league with Keen in it. So what can you say? DWG Gaming going to push down the bot lane here. You know, they could take this slow, but they can't take it that slow. They can't siege, right? So the all-in threat is quite high.
Yep, and Noguri, you can see on the top side of the map, is getting work done. True Shot Barrage is going to be denied by the Wind Wall, but now that is going to be on cooldown. Safeguard to make sure that Canyon is relatively safe. Flash forward, Showmaker with the deletion! See you later, Ghost, and now see you later, bottom inhibitor turret. The top inhibitor turret's also going down as Noguri is a one-man wrecking crew. And that is base broken in 2 places. DAMWON able to find the opportunity as Canyon may have found it as well. The kickback nuclear has the ultimate, but Dove gets out of there. The final chapter is in, but SANDBOX are running for the hills. Just the edge of the tornado, and DWG are now just parading around the fountain, waiting to get into game number 2 after they dismantle this SANDBOX easily.
23 kills in 26 minutes. They want one more!
Yep, all diving on forward. The kill goes over to the Camille, and then he gets executed by the Fountain Laser. Nuclear, he wants another kill, but the Nexus is going to go down first, and DWG in a surprise victory, not necessarily because of the result, but because of how it was orchestrated. Come out with a win after game 1.
DWG Gaming come back from Rift Rivals and looking to extend 4 kills in 26 minutes, more than a combined kill a minute between the 2 teams. This was action-packed, but it was really nice League of Legends on the DWG side.
That's what I really love about it, is it's not only incredibly flashy play coming in here, the kills that Showmaker were able to rack up were just disgusting in a lot of cases. And 21.4k damage out of the Camille, who was just thrashing that Renekton at every opportunity. 16,000 gold was the lead at the end.
We're willing to go on record. We're thoroughly flapped here on the LCK Global English Caster Desk.
You caster cursed our unflappability, Pop Smith. That's what you did.
No, it was DWG. They just ripped up the conventional, and you know what? I can always live in some unconventional. I can try to deconstruct the next levels, because DWG Gaming, the style was undeniable.
That was absolutely amazing, and this is why I love best of 3s as well, because we potentially just get it one more time.
I hope so.
Maybe even 2 more times.
That's what I'm hoping for, the second part. 3 games, baby.
Let's see what happens, guys. We will be going to a short break. When we get back, can SANDBOX get that experience out of their minds and try and take down DWG in game number 2? Because we know that they have the capability to do so. We know that this team has a whole lot of potential. DWG Gaming game number 1 made it look way too easy.
DWG Gaming potential's becoming reality, Atlas, and that is a scary world for everyone living in.
Yep, that's true. SANDBOX, they are a bunch of champions, and we'll see whether they can do it as we get to game number 2 right after the break.